The UK has a two-tier approach to extremism that fails to treat far-right attacks as seriously as Islamist ones, a leading think tank has said. The Royal United Service Institute (RUSI) says right-wing violence is often classified as mere thuggery by politicians, prosecutors, and the security services. Equivalent acts by Islamists will swiftly be labeled as terrorism, it says in an article in The Guardian. A week of riots across England and Northern Ireland that have targeted asylum hotels and mosques have been fueled by neo-Nazis and extreme right activity. The UK has a two-tier approach. Yes, that is what this think tank is trying to say to us. Elon Musk, the owner of X, and the Reform UK party leader Nigel Farage have claimed that Keir Starmer's government is implementing a two-tier criminal justice system with predominantly white rioters treated more harshly than non-white counter-protesters. An article written by the directors of RUSI said a different double standard has been exposed by these summer riots, which has allowed far-right activity to flourish. RUSI's research suggests that the nature of far-right violence, which is often seen as low impact and disjointed, coupled with the institutional bias and racism, means that far-right violence has historically not triggered the same response from politicians, security services, and the media as jihadist violent extremists. There exists a clear double standard or two-tier approach in how different forms of extremism are addressed, particularly when comparing security and legal responses to far-right and Islamist violence extremism, the article says. So, RUSI's acting director of terrorism and conflict research group, Dr. Jessica White, the RUSI's research fellow Claudia Warner, and its director of terrorism and conflict studies, Emily Winterbootham, it calls for the threat from the far right to be redefined. Far-right motivated violence is often classified as mere thuggery or hooliganism, which similar acts motivated by Islamist terrorism will likely be swiftly labeled as terrorism. This inconsistency undermines the perceived severity of far-right threats and hinders the political will and the necessary legal precedent to take equivalent action, it says. Starmer understands the political-driven actions of the far-right, the authors claim, when he described an attack on a hotel housing asylum seekers as far-right thuggery. While his Starmer's intent was to acknowledge the theological underpinnings of the violence, the term thuggery downplays the organized network and ideologically components of the riots, as well as the individual and groups involved in the article. So, to some extent, this RUSI or think tank group, what they are saying have some elements of truth in it. But truth be told, yes, UK should try as much as possible not to play double standards in this issue. Yes, because most of these migrants that these far-right people are trying to make as if they are the origination of their problem, they are not. And if they check, their foreign policy somehow is contributing to why those people's country are in the situation where it is.